So Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars are on the horizon for movies that are going to be coming out pretty soon-ish, like in quotation marks soon, because they're within the next 3 years. Alright, so I want to talk about the main things that I want to see implemented into these movies, and then what I'm hoping for afterwards. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. My name is Aiden, and today I'm going to be talking about a lot of different MCU stuff. I talk about a lot of different things like that on this channel, so if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe and check out my other videos. First, I want to talk about what I do and don't want to see in Avengers Doomsday. With the multiversal aspects being on the horizon for finally ending, I do want to see a lot of different multiversal stuff in these next two movies. I want to see more of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, maybe Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, and then some little hints at characters that we haven't seen before, kind of like how Deadpool and Wolverine gave us a lot of castings and things like that, obviously, with Gambit. I also want to see a good progression of the storyline with Doctor Doom, obviously, and I don't really want to see him be a Tony Stark variant if that's what they're going to go for. But if they do go in that direction, it couldn't be horrible. It could be pretty well done, I think, because it could lead into using a Victor Von Doom character maybe for Secret Wars if that's what they want to do with that. But I also hope that Doomsday will quickly wrap up the Kang the Conqueror storyline that we've been waiting for to be wrapped up, and really just we've been waiting for more information on it since Jonathan Majors has no longer been a part of the MCU. If we're going to see Tom Holland's Spider-Man in this movie, I really hope that he doesn't reveal his secret identity to everybody immediately, and I really hope that they keep with just having him have more of a secret identity and less of just being open with everybody about all of his secrets so quickly. And honestly, I would be perfectly fine if they don't use him at all in this movie, or if they just don't even show him. Thunderbolts is a team that I do want to see in Doomsday. I hope that they are able to utilize these characters well without just really making them all a part of the Avengers. Maybe take some characters that are going to be on Sam Wilson's Avengers and put them on the Thunderbolts, and some of the Thunderbolts and put them on Sam Wilson's Avengers team, and things like that, obviously. And I hope that we at least get a little sneak peek cameo of the new X-Men that we're going to be seeing. And for other characters that we've already seen in the MCU, I hope that they utilize the Hulk family more in this movie. Really just stop holding back She-Hulk and the Hulk. A reference to Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse would be pretty cool if they do something like that. But I think a big collision of events with a lot of different worlds coming together in the end to really just be left in ruin by Doctor Doom, and then see Secret Wars kind of bring that all together in the end would be pretty cool. But moving into Secret Wars, I hope that we see a new multiverse forming after these events. Just one universe where we'll see the new Fantastic Four, new X-Men, and then the ruins of the MCU all come together, and maybe bring in some of their dead characters and reutilize them, T'Challa, because they didn't really utilize him besides the one Black Panther movie, unfortunately. Maybe using a Ghost Rider, because we haven't gotten a Ghost Rider for the MCU, and then maybe even bringing in a Miles Morales, kind of what they did with Ultimatum and the whole Ultimate Spider-Man events that went on in the comics in the 2000s, or maybe just introducing him in some way with Donald Glover's Aaron Davis would be pretty cool. I definitely do want to see Spider-Man in Secret Wars if he's not going to be in Doomsday at all, because I believe that they could build on him because of the next Spider-Man movie that's coming out, and really I want to see them implement the symbiote suit with Holland's Spider-Man, just like how they did with him in one of the Secret Wars comics. I also want Avengers Secret Wars to kind of play the role that Endgame did in the Infinity Saga, which was everyone just comes together and defeats a real version of Doctor Doom, like a Victor Von Doom version of Doctor Doom instead of Robert Downey Jr.'s, obviously. If they end up going with a Tony Stark variant for Doomsday, then I definitely do want to see a real version of Doctor Doom in some way Maybe they don't utilize him, or they just show him as like a cameo or something, but that would be pretty cool to see him at least, and then be able to build on that with the next universe. And with all the universes coming together, I hope that we're able to serve this as kind of a soft reboot where the history of this world gets a little bit rewritten so that events can better align and the history can be easier to follow with the timeline and everything. Beyond those two Avengers movies, though, I want to see that each team can be focused on individually and not just one big Avengers team. Like if we could see the Fantastic Four, the Thunderbolts, the X-Men, the Guardians of the Galaxy, and the Avengers all be like separate teams that only come together in like the end, and it wouldn't be like an actual they're all one big Avengers team, because that's just dumb and I don't like that. But I also hope that we're also still able to get a bunch of different solo heroes able to do their own thing and not just putting all their solo heroes onto the Avengers team. With the new phases of the MCU, I hope that we're able to focus more on the X-Men and the Fantastic Four than on the Avengers, because with the utilization of them in the past, we can now focus on just the X-Men and the Fantastic Four a lot more. Maybe use the new Avengers and the Thunderbolts and stuff like that too, obviously, but less of those being your main characters and focusing on these other characters that have been sidelined for the last 10 plus years. I also hope that we're able to explore some maybe more comic accurate takes on these characters and really just dive more into the comic stories than we did before, because we've had some comic stories and the MCU has kind of done that, but their characters are a lot different from the like actual comic versions of them, and that would be cool to see them maybe be closer to these characters. Like, don't get me wrong, I like both versions, and I think it's cool to read both versions because they act very different from one another. But it would be a lot more interesting to be able to see their progression from the MCU into like comic books, I guess. But I also want to see comic creators get properly compensated for their work being used in the MCU and really getting credited a lot more, because they haven't been in the past, and that's something that can be changed with Avengers: Secret Wars and Doomsday, especially with this whole soft reboot happening. I have broader thoughts on the MCU as a whole, but I've done that before on my channel, so these are just the main things that I want to see introduced and implemented after and during these movies. If this video does well, I might do a part 2 and talk about some other things that I want to see implemented afterwards, but you can check out my other socials for more content like this, and remember to like and subscribe. Have a great day. Okay, bye now.